I was hoping that by having 2 coal generators here, I'd have enough electrical headroom to last me for the foreseeable future. However, with 150 megawatts, that apparently is not the case, as steel production is eating a lot of my electrical needs. So in this episode, I'm going to be deconstructing this location. I'm going to be building a whole new coal generator plant with probably more coal generators, as well as trying to figure out some way to get some coal back to the plant back home so that we can automate our steel production without having to go back and forth and shuttle the coal manually.
I'm really liking the progress that I've made thus far. I've got 5 now, which is a lot. I'm hoping this is going to be enough until I get the next type of power, which as far as I know is nuclear. Maybe there's some solar in there that I'm not aware of. But right now we've got the one miner here, which is going to be leading into one of these. The other one can come at a future date and load into the other side there. They're going to be elevated up to here, the coal that is. And then it's going to split in some kind of crazy way. I've got 1, 2, oh god, how many do I have? 3, 5. I really wish I had an even number because that would split a whole lot easier. But we'll figure it out somehow. Maybe I'll just have, I don't know. Got a lot of work to do remaining. I also need to figure out how to do the water because we've got so many here. I'm thinking I might be able to use, no, I'm thinking this is going to hurt. Oh, not bad. I think I'm going to be able to use the ceiling here. I had to make it pretty tall to account for this vehicle loading and unloading station, and I moved it to the side so that this thing can just go through because this is kind of blocking a pretty nice route from side to side. That being said, I don't know where it's supposed to go, but again, just trying to plan for the future. So I've got to shuttle all the way back to my base, get a lot more resources, and keep on building because you can see as much concrete as I brought, I ran out of enough to do the walls, also limited by my iron sheets. So let's grab some more resources, then I'm going to keep building. Well, I think that's the last thing that I need to take care of. This had some water still in it. Now it's still generating some. I've got a lot of pumps set up. I hadn't really thought about how it's all going to work together, so we're just going to see what's happening right now. So we've got the biomass burner here. That should be temporary. This is powering those 2 pumps as well as the water extractor. So that's pulling water out of the lake. This is moving at a pretty good rate. That is an indicator there of what is in there as well as how fast it's moving. So this pump, throwing it up 20 meters. I don't know exactly what that looks like, but up another 20 for that one. Just figured 2 probably will suffice to get it to the top here. Now we can keep looking in these pipes, whoa, to see how they're doing. And the flow rate is really good, actually maxed out, and the amount of water in the pipe is as well. So I think we're probably good. We're probably filling up something up here if it's still flowing at that rate. So I've got the pipes here kind of splitting, going across 5 ways, 1 each. That's, I don't know, maybe not the best way to do it, but it was, you know, good in a pinch. So going all the way there, you can see the flow rate is down a bit. Now I have these 2 splitters on the lifts, and they are splitting the coal. This one's splitting it 3 ways, this one's splitting it 2 ways. Again, this one's temporary too, but I really just had no idea what was going on. I went into this without a plan, and it's going well so far. So we're going to check this one out. It should be getting both of the things that it needs, and it has no connection, but it looks like it's got everything it needs. So let's go ahead and actually just plug these guys in quickly to see if it's going to take care of everything. These 3 are the ones that are running. So I'm going to throw them just in some kind of temporary thing. Which one did I... Okay, I guess it's going through. This we got to go all the way down. I took some damage from some of the... I don't know if we can call them enemies, the wildlife that got into my base. So I'm careful to try and make sure that I don't do too many aggressive jumps off of ledges. So trying to make it all the way back to my existing power network. And we are in range. Those all should be on. We're going to check this. And we've got a capacity at 225 and a production that seems low. I don't, maybe a bunch of stuff shut off. Maybe the things aren't running very well with the fact that I don't have coal going into there. But this project took a lot longer than I was expecting to, so we're just going to stick to having completed this. I've definitely got to clean it up, make it a little bit shinier. That takes me a long time, so that's not something that I like to do on the camera, even with the time lapse. But right now I'm pretty happy. I've got my 5 smokestacks, only 3 of them are running, but there's no reason I can't get the other 3 once I go back to my base, get another portable miner, set the miner up, figure out these conveyor belts. Overall, I've just got to beautify this whole thing, and additional to the beautification will be the fact that it should be more efficient. So I've got tons of power. Let's check back in there. Yeah, tons of power right now. Only going to get 150 more from adding those other 2 that should be running soon. Water looks good for now. I'm sure something will go horribly wrong, but for now, I'm happy with my power plants. They're looking good, and I think I'm on my way to getting my base to pretty solid steel production. After a bit more polish, this is my most recent iteration of the power plant, so let me give you a quick tour before we wrap up. Don't know what's going on with that tree. So over on the outside, we've got 2 miners here, both on the coal deposits. This one's not in use right now. It's going to be used to provide coal to the main base back home by the space elevator. This is the one that is supplying coal for all 5 of the coal generators, and it is way under capacity. You can see just how slow this coal is moving on the conveyor belt, which is good for now. That means when we overclock it, we won't have to give it additional coal, or give the 5 coal generators additional coal. It is moving around here up to the elevator into the top floor. So briefly while we're here, this is the pass-through that you can use just if you need to get to A to B. Whoa, what is this guy doing? He's trying to use the stairs. It looks like that's actually what he's doing. All right, good. Go home, AI. You are drunk. But I would like to paint this another color just to let you know just where the markings are. Maybe this another color as well, because if you're in this zone, then you will be loading or unloading the truck depending on what the rules are for it, and giving it some extra fuel, which is, I guess, never a bad thing. These are a couple bays which can be used to maybe put some more tractors in, do some repairs, who knows. Extra space for building some structures. Don't know what this is going to be for. Right now it's just a power plant, and the first floor, you know, can be pretty much for anything. So I guess you can hang out in here if you like. It wasn't my intention, but I guess the ceiling's big enough for that gigantic guy. So moving on to the second floor, we're going to catch up with some of the coal, and you can see I've made some awesome progress on making this a lot more efficient and well designed. The water over here just comes in through a hole, which I don't know a good way to put this through walls, so that's just going to be how it looks for now. I do a lot of tweaking to get this manifold to look the way that it does, but I really like the fact that I have all of these indicators to show you how much water is in the pipe and just how fast that water is flowing. You can see these don't take a whole lot. These are barely pulsing to show you the flow rate, but everything's doing well so far. So in addition to the water supply manifold, we also have the coal here coming into the splitter, and since there are 5, I didn't know a really good way to do this, so this just goes splits the initial between coal generator 1 and then the assembly line. Then this splits again, generator 2, supply line, generator 3, supply line. And it's been working okay because these are very under their needs. You can see they can even hold some coal in case there is a little bit of a backup with that conveyor belt. These can run for a couple minutes actually. Math, you can do that to show you just how resilient these things can be. So no problems there. And we do have a little bit of a looping issue in that the things that supply coal and water for these generators are reliant on the generators for power, so we need a bit of redundancy, which is what I was hoping to accomplish here with this fluid buffer. Now the problem is gravity. I would like to put this on the ceiling so that if the power goes out, it can just gravity feed all those generators, as well as having another buffer for the coal in the conveyor belt system, which doesn't actually run on power. But right now I'm just kind of experimenting with this stuff. We've got this pump to send things up, because otherwise if everything's shut down, then the water would actually end up flowing backwards. But if the power shuts out, then that pump's not going to help, so this is just for fun right now. We'll create some additional resiliency later. But everything else is pretty much as you saw it earlier. I'm pretty happy with everything. We've got a ton of power, 375 megawatt hours. Production, sitting under 100, but that can change depending on how much coal we have to fuel the steel production. So that's everything I've got right now for my pretty sweet new forest power plant, which is happily not generating too much visual smoke. I don't know how much my character cares about polluting the planet. But maybe that's a later episode. We can reverse the damage that we're doing. So thank you guys for watching this episode. A lot of cool progress, a lot of additional capacity in terms of power. And next up, we're going to be adding a way to get some coal back to my base, which is located under that space elevator. So stay tuned for that.